And I am live. How is everybody doing? How has everybody's week been? Where's everybody from in the chat that's in the chat right now? Rather, thank you again for joining me for this live Q&A. Like I said, I usually do the upcoming books for the month of whatever, but since we don't have any upcoming books until further notice, figured we'd do some Q&As. Ask me anything kind of deal. Now, it's 11 o'clock. We had a late night last night here in our house, so I'm just now starting to wake up. Yeah, I'd love to know where everybody is. Let's see. It's almost evening over here. I'm skipping dinner for this. Thank you, Marty. I appreciate that. Where are you at, man? What part of the world are you at? And some of my crew may join me a little bit later. Like I know Maddie said she was going to try to join. So yeah, I'd love to know. Amsterdam, that's what's up. Amsterdam. Cool. I always wanted to go there because I heard you guys are really touristy. That's why. Michigan. What time zone you at in Michigan? Is that Central? You on Central? I really can't remember. I've been to Detroit. 4 p.m. What's up, Sergio? I remember you were from, my friend. 4 p.m. Where are you located, Ben? Mid-afternoon in Sweden. That's what's up. 11 p.m. in West Australia. By the way, mad shout out to all my Australian viewers. I didn't give you all a proper shout out. I gave a shout out to all the European viewers and all the viewers from South America, but I didn't give a proper shout out to those folks in Australia. So thank you all for watching. Ireland, Northeast Ohio in the house. What's up, Kenny? Always a pleasure to see you, buddy. Ireland, my brother's been there. 4 p.m. in the UK. Man. Illinois, what's going on, Oracle? 11 p.m. in the Philippines. I love all these different time zones. Thank you all for staying up with me or waking up early, wherever you are. Thank you. Greetings from Russia. Finally got you live. You did. Yep. I'm going to try to do this once a week. For any of the questions I can't. I love answering questions in the comments, but man, sometimes I can't get to every single one of them. So I figured I'd start doing this. What's up, Ross, my brother? Chicago. So you got, I knew you all were in Central. Hi from Russia. What do you think of Bendis's? Oh, we're going to start with questions already. What do I think of Bendis's Batman? It's actually, why didn't they give him Batman? I really like that 6-issue miniseries that they made into a trade paperback. And it made me think, why did DC not give him the obvious choice? I mean, I'm sure he wanted to write Superman. But anybody that's ever read his Daredevil or his noir stories knows that, like Torso or the big one, Powers, knows that he was probably meant to write Batman. So, what's up, Hank Pym? Hey, from the UK. Hey, my buddy. There's Larry. Omar, congratulations on the results of the latest reading order poll. Should be the best video ever. That's right. Every month on our Patreon, we have a reading order. That's where I put my comprehensive reading orders, and the Patreons choose on what I read next. It is up to them. Keeps me on tabs because I get to make a video every month, regardless of what it is. Just means sometimes I have to read a little more, or sometimes I have to separate the videos into 2 parts, 3 parts, whatever it is. And for all those wonderful folks that have been asking me to do an X-Men video, updated video, I promise I will. And it probably won't be until the end of the year, until I get Uncanny X-Men Volume 4, so I can just start doing it. And I'm going to include everything, including the trade paperbacks. I may do a separate video for like when to start reading New Mutants and X-Factor or Excalibur. So, Callie, you are up early, my friend. Javier. And from Poland, how's it going? Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's staying healthy. Sucks the times that we're going through, but we're all doing it together. Argentina, peruano aquí, hermano. What's up, brother? Has anyone read Guggenheim's Blade on Donny Cates' book club stream? He said Blade was one of his favorite characters. Yeah, the complete series just came out a couple of weeks ago, and that's the best way to collect them because it also includes the one shot that was released years later. It's that awesome one shot with him and Wolverine. And honestly, Blade hasn't had a lot of miniseries, but that one is really damn good. It's a lot of fun. Has any just finished Lock and Key? Absolutely brilliant. Got any recommendations on the other indie or Silmer's length? Yeah, we do. Let me get my co-host in here. So there'll be a couple of us today. Be easier to keep an eye on the chat that way. Hey, thanks for joining me, everybody. I don't think I need to introduce this lovely lady, but this is Wonder Maddie.
Hey.
Hello from Lexington. I was asking where everybody was from. Lexington.
Oh.
We have a lot of people still here from Russia, Europe.
Nice.
We'll loop that under one. South America.
Ooh, there's a question here I can help answer.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's still, I need to work it out. I used to be able to like click the chat. I can't anymore.
Hey, Hayden.
Hayden. So Hunter C asks, what's the best way to go about getting all of the library and or collected editions of Buffy? You are in luck. I am the person to talk to.
She is.
However, there is a downside to this because a lot of the library collections are out of print. So your best bet is to look through eBay, but it's going to be pretty pricey. However, right now, since Boom has taken over Dark Horse, since Boom has taken Buffy from Dark Horse, there is the possibility that they will reprint those as library editions. They are currently going back right now and reprinting old Buffy and Angel legacy editions right now. So the older IDW stuff. And they also put season 11 of Buffy as a library edition too. So there's some hope, but also some downside. So if you haven't collected any library editions yet so far, they are out of print. So you'll have to do a little bit of digging to find those. But maybe you'll get lucky.
And you know what's really weird about those is that they were liquidated for the longest time because they just weren't selling. Because I remember I bought a couple of the season 8 library editions, and then I just was like, I don't think I'm going to keep going with this. So I ended up selling them. And it's so weird when you see something liquidated, you just walk past it. And I do this a lot. And I'm like, yeah, I'll get it. Maybe if it's like half off of that already. And then it's gone. And then you look online and the prices have tripled. And you're like, I'm a damn fool. I should have picked it up when I could have.
I got in at the right time because I started like going back and because I've been in the comic book game a couple of years now. And right when I first started to get into it, we already had all of season 8 library editions. I think maybe the first volume of season 9. And just then that's when stuff started to go out of print a little bit. So I was able to go ahead and grab a lot. And thankfully to those people in the Omnibus Collectors group, they were able to do me a solid and help me find the ones I didn't have. So I got super lucky. It's a shame too, because like honestly, those library edition prices are very good. Like when they're just the regular book price.
Mm-hmm.
So it always sucks when it's out of print.
I completely agree. I get a lot of questions on my videos. They're like, how can DC produce such a beautiful... I'm sorry, not DC. Dark Horse produce such a lovely library edition, but, you know, Marvel and DC charge $100 for something like this. And it's a double-edged sword, right?
Yeah.
Because, Marvel and DC produce... But they also produce like 1,500 pages, too, to a book, right?
Yeah.
And they also have to pay multiple teams, and it's a little different when it comes to like independent stuff like Dark Horse. I've always told, like, if you wanted to be a creator, this is of course before Image, you wanted to get your stuff published at Dark Horse because they probably paid out the most towards the creators. Mm-hmm. And we'll probably talk a little bit more about what's going on here in the news lately. Here's a good question. Oh, the library editions are wonderful. Wonder Woman, is Perez or Simone Run better? Do you think one is more important to read? On my videos, and I think, Maddie, you got around to reading Wonder Woman by scale, right?
No, because my book is at your house.
Oh yeah, and we're practicing safe distancing. So,
so I haven't read it yet. I do own Wonder Woman: The Circle, so I read a bit of that, and I've also read some of the other Gale Wonder Woman stuff that's not in that. So like shorter runs, or like Wonder Woman and Conan I've read, but
Yeah.
That's it.
So I always suggest, like, historically, or if you're a person that likes to do everything in chronological order, like I am, sure, go for the George Perez stuff. But if you're asking which one is better or more important to read, ooh, that's a tough question. Because I will say this, and I've said it on my videos, that the Perez run is a little harder to read because it's dialogue heavy. It takes you a long time to get through. I mean, it's wonderful. The artwork is beautiful, but it will take you a while to get through. Where when you're reading something like Gail Simone's run, not dialogue heavy, the artwork is modernized with the colors, and it's almost like a fresh breath of air, if you will.
It is
And
nice that so many of those are collected in omnibus format now, though. Like,
yeah, she's
it's
getting
all
more love.
so readily available. All the Wonder Woman runs.
She's got more love than Flash, who has a TV show, right? Like, and this is before the movie.
Yeah.
Puedes leer Mortcinder. I'm going to, because I love Eternaut, so I will read that. An X-Force reading order would be very. I think I put that in the poll one time. I promise I did, and then I think it was outvoted by something else. I think this time it was Exiles. X-Force, actually. Yeah, X-Force was in the reading order this time, and then Duck Comics, which I've been wanting to do for a while. And
I missed it. Someone asked about my chair, where I got it from. It's from Overstock.com. It's a Costway ergonomic racing chair or something. I got it on sale.
That's a good point, Tim. Thank you so much for reminding everybody to please smash that like button, or like that smash button, whatever I said last time that I just completely messed up.
Oh, someone said they love Upgrade Soul. I'm so glad. I hope some of you got in. Upgrade Soul was free to read, I think, up until yesterday on iOS, but the app is still up. You can pay for it. It's like an interactive one. So people were able to read Upgrade Soul by Ezra Clayton Daniels for free. It's one of my all-time favorite books. So if you're home right now and you're interested in reading it, you can go ahead and download it if you have an iPhone and still read it. I recommended it to some friends this week, and they messaged me afterwards. These are friends I don't normally talk comic books with, but I was like, listen, you've got to read it. And they were like, I've been weeping since I finished it.
It's all done? Or is it continuation?
Oh, it's all done. It's
like I said, when I read it, you and I can do a live chat, or anybody else who wants to read it. Because I know we do old reader, new reader, but I don't mind doing new comics too. What Omnibus Collectors Group? It is the Omnibus Collectors Trade and Swap Group on Facebook. It's a great group of people. Mainly just talk about books in there. But
yeah, feel free to look it up and send a request. I can't guarantee that you guys will be able to get in right away because they do.
Yeah, neither one are admins. So
no, and I thank God. I don't want to be an admin in that group.
Black Hammer Library Edition, I love. Yes, absolutely, and we're getting more. We're getting 3 more. Knock on wood by end of year.
I really want to read that. Our pick, we're for Fangirls, our pick of the month for next month. We haven't chosen a date yet, or this month, I guess, is going to be the Black Hammer DC.
Oh, that won't be in the library edition.
No,
so you're good getting that if you want to. I think I've told everybody or the people that watch the channel that won't be in there. Anyone read Mark Waid's Daredevil run? Both of us have. Solid. It's a different take on Daredevil. It's lighthearted. It's a lot different than his usual, like what you're used to Daredevil being like. Omar, what's your take on Nick Spencer's Amazing Spider-Man? Wordy, fun, ups and downs. Great artwork by Ryan Otley and Humberto Ramos. I was hoping they would do an OHC, but I don't see one yet. So maybe they'll have enough to do an omnibus. So those are my thoughts. But I do like it. It's fun. I like the fact that he's trying to throw back to stuff pre One More Day. I don't know how much he can do, right? With the C-Virus on Infinite Crisis going on right now, how do you think the aftermarket of collected editions will go? That's the big question, right?
Big question. Yeah.
That's the big question.
I don't think anyone really has a solid handle on what that's going to look like now.
It's been so crazy. I'm sure a lot of you all have kept up with a lot of the decisions that have been made lately. Literally hour by hour, DC was changing what it was going to do. It's not going to solicit. It's not going to put any digital print out. Marvel said nothing this week. Marvel did come out and said nothing this week. And Unfortunately, I saw tweets from Sophie Campbell, which is one of my favorite creators, talking about one of my favorite books, and they were told pencils down. This is at IDW, so Transformers pencils down, GI Joe pencils down, all the creative teams, which makes me think that they were paid issue by issue, right? Instead of like Marvel or DC when they contract, or not contract, but when they hire people in. So that hurts because I don't know if that means let's see this out or we can't afford to keep paying people because we don't know when these books are out. And I don't want those books to end. Selfishly, I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Transformers. Those are the two best comic books going on. Well, Phase 2 of Transformers, the new one was okay. But TMNT was solid. And I don't want those books to end. I want those books to keep going. And I would love for Marvel to realistically buy the Transformers IP so they can release Omnis, but I think competition sometimes is good too, right? I don't want Marvel to own everything. So, yeah, well, I'm sure we'll talk more a little bit about what decisions were made too. Maddie, what Marvel Omnibus are you most excited for this year in 2020, if any?
Oh man, I don't think I have one really. Like, I think
she doesn't watch my live streams when I talk about upcoming books.
Well, because I used to be really on the pulse of it and always checking like solicits every month, and I kind of stopped just to be more financially responsible. But I feel like I'm most excited for things that aren't even like a thing yet, but I know eventually will be. Like, I just want, I'm excited for War of the Realms. I know we're getting on a bus for that. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping, praying that will lead to Jason Aaron Thor Omnibus, because that's all I really want. And so I just keep hoping, if I keep wishing it to existence, it'll eventually happen, which I think it will. So I guess that's my answer.
Okay. War of the Realms. I think everybody knows mine. I've been trying to get into Marvel heroes besides Spider-Man. Any runs you recommend? Daredevil.
Oh man, a ton.
If you like Spider-Man, try some Daredevil.
Read Thor.
Thor by Jason Aaron is pretty solid.
Yes.
It's easy to follow.
So good.
Daredevil by Bendis stuff has just been reprinted, and they'll be coming back into stock. And we'll talk about stock in a little bit. That's followed up by Brubaker, and then Shadowland, which I know people are sometimes hit and miss about. Punisher Max.
And there's also a lot of like Marvel superheroes that don't have crazy long runs that you can still get into and not feel like, you're totally running behind on stuff. Like, I love going in and reading like She-Hulk runs because I feel like they're really good. For one, they're more compact. Whether that means it's because it got canceled or whatever, but
yeah, and you're right. Like, She-Hulk had interesting runs where it kind of ended, right? Like, you had the Dan Slott and Peter David run, you had the John Byrne run. That will, when everything gets back to normal, Chad, I don't know if you're related to Sophie or not, but that, I'm sure, that will come back into print. Those are evergreen. IDW keeps Transformers and TMNT evergreen, so just keep an eye out. Omar, you need to read Upgrade Your Soul. Oh, Upgrade Soul. I promise I will. I promised Maddie I would, and then we would do an episode about it.
So in love.
Especially since they were sweet enough to put it out for free.
Yeah.
Wish Dark Horse would release deluxe editions of Lone Wolf and Cub. Me too, man. But let's wait it out, because we just now got an announcement of Blade of the Immortal. We know about Hellsing, and look how well the deluxe editions of Berserk have been selling. And the way Kodansha's been doing box sets and hardcovers, they know there's a market for people that like to pay the extra, I guess, what is it called? The collector's fee, if you will, for better quality built books. So I know that Dark Horse knows. I know that Kodansha knows. Omar and Maddie, since this week is the 30th anniversary of TMNT 1990, I live in the pizza capital of the world, Chicago. What's your favorite pizza? Deep, brother, deep.
Deep dish. I lived in Naperville outside of Chicago for about 4 years. So I'm a big deep dish pizza, big Illuminati's fan.
I'm pretty simple dude. I like barbecue chicken. What about you, Maddie?
Well, I like any kind of pizza, but I'm one of those blasphemous people that, like, if I'm just ordering pizza at home, I want Hawaiian because I like pineapple on my pizza.
I knew you were going to go with pineapple. I thought you were going to say cheese.
Jeez.
Will you ever do a full guide post-Crisis DC? I got so many spoilers just trying to find what books to read. Like where to read books after Crisis, like particular books. I can do that, but it gets confusing. Mainly because during that time at DC editorial, people were like, okay, let's reboot Batman. Sure. We'll get Frank Miller in there. Year one. All right, let's reboot Superman. John Byrne, Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, George Perez, Flash, Mike Baron. But it wasn't a reboot of Flash. And that's the thing. It was a continuation of Flash because Barry died in Crisis on Infinite Earths. And Wally West took the helm of Flash. But everybody else got rebooted. And then there's a whole cluster mess of Hawkman, who nobody talked about rebooting. And then when they did, they rebooted him again a couple times. So that's confusing. So I don't mind doing it. It's just, believe me, it's as confusing for people that read that stuff when it was coming out as it is for people that are collecting it. Where to start reading Avengers comics? That all depends. But here's something I'm going to say that I know a lot of people are going to be surprised about. But I'm just saying, New Avengers. I know you all know how I feel about Bendis, but he writes comics that are easy to get into. I'm not dumbing his coming down by any means, but they're comics that are easy to get into. You get to know the characters, whether they're written properly or not. I leave that up to people to find out. But seriously, check out Bendis' New Avengers. And if you want to read classic stuff, go with the Busiek stuff, the Roger Stern stuff. Can't go wrong with that stuff. Best Star Wars Legends, Tales of the Jedi, and KOTOR. I'm excited for Dark Empire. That's coming out in Epic Edition. That's the one that everybody talks about, of course. To the NMC, shout out to the NMC crew for all the great content they give us all year round. Thank you all. Yeah, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I don't know why you're watching this, but yeah, please think about subscribing. We put out videos every day. Maddie just started you started doing the anime stuff again. The anime videos.
Well, now that we're all home, it's easier to
right
get it all together. So
a little bit. I've watched Berserk already. Can you two suggest any more manga and similar with that tone and genre? Yeah, we can. So let's name a couple. I think I just named some. Blade of the Immortal. Mm-hmm. What about you, Maddie?
I don't know why, but I keep just only thinking monster. But that's to me that's similar in tone, but not similar in genre.
Yeah, but that has that tone, like a dark tone,
and the art style. Mm-hmm. I'd say anything like early '90s fantasy. You're gonna get that same feel as Berserk with a lot of it. A lot of that same like gore feel, but not always like. Some of them tend to be more comedic. Because I've been watching through Record of the Lotus War, and a lot of like the action's very similar. I've never watched it before. It's so good.
Are you watching the OAV or the
OVA?
Yeah. So the TV show is pretty cool because you just ignore the last 3 episodes of the OVA, and then you watch the TV show, which is excellent because they're taking after the novels. But let's see, Blade of the Immortal.
A lot of movies like Ninja Scroll.
Yeah, I was thinking of anytime I hear Berserk, like I'm thinking of swords. So immediately I thought of Lone Wolf and Cub, Blade of the Immortal, Vagabond. Vagabond is excellent.
Oh yeah, definitely Vagabond.
Vinland Saga. If you haven't read Vinland Saga, you need to. I need to do an overview of that so people can check that out. I don't think enough people.
Especially now that does Vinland Saga just get an anime?
Yeah, well, last year I think.
Yeah.
It's about Vikings. So think like Berserk with Vikings.
Very good. Ooh, Claymore. Dream Coco said Claymore. Yes.
Good. That's a damn good answer. That's like I remember somebody sold me on that saying it's the female version of Berserk, which I guess maybe it is. Those females are badasses though.
So good.
And creepy. And read the manga because the anime really doesn't finish.
Well, it didn't finish, yeah.
Right. Bendis' run and Wade's run is good because lighthearted color take. Awesome. Hopkins IDW reprint the Transformers collection. I think it's 3 times a year. I don't know how different things are going to be right now. Hey, Omar, is there any chance that DC will release 90s Titans?
Who knows?
Oh, I've got mine all custom bound because, like you, I was just tired of waiting. That was years ago, and still we haven't gotten a single, with the exception of maybe the crossover issues.
Well, that period of like Teen Titans and Titans. just aren't getting collected. So
I'm
great.
surprised. I'm surprised we're getting a volume 5 of the Marv Wolfman George Perez stuff in omnibus format.
Me
If
too.
they continue that, I'm gonna buy them, even though I
Yeah,
have them already in collected edition.
well, I have the first volume and I haven't jumped in to buy the rest, but since they are continuing to come out, I think I will make the jump.
Right. How hyped is everyone for the New Mutants omnibus when it eventually comes out? I know I'm super hyped. Well, I know me. It was in my top 3 most wanted Omni. So hell yeah, I'm excited. Manny, you've never read it? I think it's time you need to read the Demon Bear saga. Maybe we'll do it for old reader, new reader. You know that
I'm down.
show.
We bring Tina in.
Pencils down is a sad phrase to hear.
It is.
Completely agree. Completely agree. Do you have any recommendations for Batman omnibus? Haven't read Batman in years.
Well, lucky for you, there's a ton.
Honestly, well, that's the thing. There really isn't, right? If somebody were to ask me about like X-Men omnibus, bam, 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 I got it. I got top 5. But with Batman,
I feel like
it's
I
like
have so many Batman omnibuses.
you have Morrison, you've got Snyder,
Yeah.
and you got Golden Age.
Oh.
And there's really not a lot. I mean, there's Batman and Robin, which I highly recommend, but that's some people are weary of reading that because they're like, well, that takes place during the New 52, and you have to read Batman Eternal, not Batman Eternal, but Batman by Snyder. It's weird to say, like, Batman doesn't get, like, modern age Batman hasn't gotten a lot of love in the omnibus editions, but we are getting Road to No Man's Land, which has, not Contagion, Cataclysm. So.
Yeah, because my recommendation would be to instead to just go pick up the deluxes from Rebirth and read Batman and Detective Comics, Comics especially.
And my recommendation would maybe if you want to jump into something new was get the Batman by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. It's got Haunted Night, Long Halloween, and Dark Victory. Those are some of the best Batman stories. They are. I think they're still canon. I don't remember anymore what's canon anymore at DC. And the Iron Man reprints and Thor Volume 1, they've been out for a while. I think I've said this on the channel before, but the Silver Age stuff just didn't sell as well as Modern Age. Sorry, I'll leave that up. As far as like Omnis, they just didn't sell as well. So I think Marvel's always a little worried to reprint something like that because it originally didn't sell well. Now, it might sell better these days, but, you know, I don't know. We got a super chat. Hey, Omar, love the channel. Do you think we will ever see the gap between Amazing Spider-Man Volume 4 and Roger Stern Omnibus in Collected Edition? Yeah, absolutely, I do. Whether they call it Volume 5 or whether they call it, well, I think we would need 2, right? Because we were getting ready to go into the Clone Saga, the original Clone Saga stuff. So I guess that one could be called the Clone Saga. We would need a couple more, actually. So I'm sure we will one day. All right, my man. Shout out to the hardcover comic. He's saying that it's all canon in the DC metaverse. Okay. Dude, I was so sad to hear about this, especially with that nice Meta Barons book that just came out, that nice edition. So yes, rest in peace to one of the best artists of our time that was still with us, Juan Jimenez. Man, that sucks. And it's going to suck because we're going to keep saying rest in peace, and it's going to become a phrase to all these older artists. And right, it's shit. Batman by Neil Adams is great aside from the Odyssey stuff. I agree with that, yeah. But I think a lot of people had an issue with the recolors, right, on that. I know Jess did. What's up, Douglas Smith?
Hey.
Nightfall Trilogy and the upcoming Roadman. I don't know if I would recommend Nightfall Trilogy as somebody's first Batman book. That tends to, well, I don't know. It was a lot of kids' first Batman story because it was a big event. They got a lot of people buying it. Is Marvel almost done collecting Conan stuff? No. I think I did the math when the first book came out. We're looking at least 11 volumes of each omnibus. least 11. Is it 11 or 13? I can't remember now. More than 10 for sure. Of Conan the Barbarian, Savage Sword of Conan, and if they decide to do King Conan, that's another set. But look how beautiful it'll look on your shelf all together when it's done. Yeah, you're right about Vagabond. I forgot that Vagabond's on hiatus. The same guy that did Slam Dunk. On Vagabond getting finished.
Maybe when Hunter x Hunter does.
That's what I was gonna say. Maybe when Hunter x Hunter goes. Basilisk was. I was gonna recommend that, but I forgot those books were out of print. Del Rey printed those books, the manga, but the anime was solid. It was fun too. Any idea if there will be any more Star Wars Doctor Aphra? I know we're big fans of that book, and I haven't seen any in the solicitations for 2020. But like I said, Marvel always loves to sneak in.
I think it got mixed reviews. Dr. Aphra did.
Really? The
Yeah.
first volume?
I liked it, but I think, of course, granted, I was talking to other people who just came out of like reading Darth Vader Omnibus, so I think it just didn't have a chance with them.
I just popped in until my dinner gets ready. Yes, thanks for the Omnibus. Berserk Beastars are going to be my.
Stars.
Have you read it or just watched it?
No, I just watched the anime like in a night.
How many episodes?
Oh, I don't know. It's not that many. Like 13?
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. But I definitely want to read the manga though. It's very good.
I'm waiting for the deluxe hardcover editions.
Elliot he was like, are you sure this isn't just like furry porn or whatever? I was like, no, trust me, it's really good. And then he ended up getting really into it also.
Oh man. Let's see. There were a couple. Sorry, it's hard to kind of pick questions randomly. Okay, I think he's replying back. Hello, Omar. Because of you, I got into X-Men OHC. Thanks. Just got Inferno Prologue for 40. All I need is X-Men 1 and 2. When do you think the Silver Age stuff? Not in 2020. And I think they might take a break from X-Men reprints, with the exception of really trying to push Inferno getting reprinted. Inferno involved the mutants in omnibus format. That would make me happy. I have them, but to have the same dressing, the same spines of Marvel omnibus on top, that'd be nice. And I know a lot of people still need Inferno. That's, I think, a lot of X-Men people's wells. The Dying Breed Collectors is asking, Omar, do you think Marvel will release Omniboo in groups the way they did with X-Men this year? Example, will we get a reprint of Amazing 2, 3, and Stern with 5? 4 was printed last year, so I don't think we'll see a 5. But I think 2021 would be the year for Spider-Man, because weren't we getting a movie that year? They tend to coincide with movies sometimes, and sometimes they don't. So I know a lot of people have been asking me about those reprints and then reprinting the Fantastic Four by Jonathan Hickman. But Spider-Man Volume 2 has had 2 printings, so this will be his 3rd printing. And I'm surprised, honestly, they didn't do these when they did a reprint of Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1. And I'm worried that when these go back into print, Volume 1 will be out of print, then those people will be asking me when does Volume 1 come back into print? And it's a never-ending cycle. Where are the Morbius Deluxe Editions epic hardcovers? Yeah, I know that movie been canceled. August, rest in peace, Juan Jimenez. Meta Barons Comics. Yes. We have the omnibus coming out later this month, the Morbius omnibus. And then we're getting later on this year, we're getting miniseries collected in trade paperback format. I don't see any hardcovers, or I didn't see any hardcovers, but I did see fat trades. So they may go the Tomb of Dracula way and just release them in complete collections. Between The Mandalorian and Fallen Order, I am completely back into Star Wars. Yeah. Maddie, you like Mandalorian, right?
Loved it. And I'm not a big Star Wars fan. I've tried. But after watching Mandalorian, I really wanted to go in and like jump back into the Star Wars comics and try those, and then also go back and play KOTOR.
Knights of the Old
And I do
Republic.
need to play Fallen Order. That's on my list. So after I play through Final Fantasy VII Remake, that's the next game I'm going to pick up.
Have you already wiped the slate? Like, are you ready? You've cleared your days to play Final Fantasy VII when it comes out?
I'm gonna take off Friday to play it.
Spoken like a true Final Fantasy person.
Yeah, I have it pre-ordered digitally just to be safe. Although a lot of my friends, their physical copies already got shipped out.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I heard there was a low stock on those.
Mhm.
Will G.I. Joe Volume 8 hardcover be reprinted? I can say no. I can safely say no because that line was discontinued. And it sucks because I was really looking forward to getting all those in hardcover edition. But they didn't sell well. I wish they had started with Transformers instead of G.I. Joe as far as the classic stuff. And the IDW line was discontinued. And I've got all those, all 7 of those. So, yeah, those didn't sell well for them. And I actually talked to them. That was the very first conversation I had with IDW. It was like, any chance we're ever going to see those again? And he was like, no, man, it breaks my heart too because I'm a collector of those as well. Gotham Central is the best Batman omnibus. Even though Batman's in it for like a couple of pages. But, well, no, he's in it for a little more. But we're doing that. We're reviewing that book on Old Reader, New Reader this month. Ooh. I find it hard to get into X-Men. Any suggestions on where to start? I always say Uncanny. Uncanny.
Well, as
Volume
someone who
1.
doesn't have the background, I would recommend Wolverine and the X-Men by Jason Aaron. I thought that was very easy to get into.
It's an easy one to follow. It's just a lot of things have happened beforehand, right? Like you're going into this history of X-Men. Why are Cyclops and Wolverine fighting? Where's Professor X? Why is Jean dead? Like all these things just keep randomly. And why do I care about the Hellfire Club?
Well, I
Why
don't
the
think
kids
it's any easier to like start from the beginning either. You know?
No,
That's
I didn't say the beginning. I meant New Genesis, the
yeah.
Uncanny one, because X-Men 1. I think anybody that has read those Silver Age books, those are a tough read. Not until the Roy Thomas years that they get any better. But honestly, X-Men, it's just one of those things that if you've tried and tried, maybe it's just not, maybe it's not for you. Like if you've tried several different books and from different times, like some people love Bendis' stuff. All New X-Men when the original team came from the past to the future to now to the present. And then Uncanny X-Men, some people like that. Some people like the stuff that the cartoon was based on, the Jim Lee and Chris Claremont. Second Genesis? No, Second Genesis was the Uncanny. But anyway, God Loves, Man Kills. There you go. I always suggest that.
That's a good one.
But I think that's the epitome of what X-Men are. Do you think New Mutants Omni will get pushed back to coincide with the movie? Oh, did you see the new release dates from Marvel? The movies?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so Black Widow is now taking place of Eternals in November.
Okay.
So Eternals, Shang-Chi, all that, 2021.
Well, yeah, I did see the actor who's in Shang-Chi post about how his movie's going to come out in the summer of next year, and he's really excited because that'll be a summer blockbuster.
Well, and that also means those movies that were supposed to come out next year also pushed, right?
Yeah.
So it's a domino effect. Why is Excalibur Omnibus stopping at issue 49? Great question, because when I asked David which one is the correct solicitations, he's like, we just can't make up our mind. Weird, right? Because that's the fight between Rachel and Necron. Necron, is that his name? No, that's the DC villain. Issue 50. But I think that one right there is closer to the actual final solicitation. So it's got a huge chunk. I agree. That boy Steve. It's really not a Batman Omni. It's more about the police force, but all right. Now let's catch up. Maddie, do you see any questions you want to highlight? Please. I know it's hard for you to tell me, go back to this. Oh, there's timestamps. You can do that.
Well, there's one back there that I can remember where someone was asking for recommendations for their girlfriend.
Okay.
Looking into because he was thinking about recommending She-Hulk. Looking at at Marvel female superhero leads, I think there's a lot of good options. My number one pick would be, if you're looking for like female-led, Unstoppable Wasp. I would start there. To me, that's one of the best runs out there. Shortly lived, unfortunately, but very, very good. And then from there, things like Miss Marvel, of course, She-Hulk. A lot of the newer runs are really good. Depending on her humor, she might like Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. Usually that does pretty well for people who are like dipping their toes into the Marvel comic universe. Yeah, any of those. And I mean, I know other people didn't like it, but I really like Mockingbird too. I think that's a good companion to Unstoppable Wasp. But try those out. Or have her read some first, second. And just don't worry about Marvel. Do that in Image.
My wife was always a fan of Spider-Man. So
Yeah.
that was her jam, and she likes Miss Marvel. She loved this series called Spider-Man Loves Mary Jane, which read more like a manga. Runaways, I think that's one I've always recommended. As far as Marvel heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Maddie, what would you recommend after Gail Simone's Red Sonja?
So that is a tough question. Honestly, you can continue on to like Amy Chu's run, because it is like they're like in order. And I've gone back and read some of the Red Sonja with like She-Devil with the Sword omnibuses. And those are still pretty good too. So far, nothing really like adds up as much to me as Gail Simone's, but I still like all the other stuff I've read so far with Red Sonja. I think as far as like Dynamite Girls go, I think she's got the best written stories that I've seen, and art included.
Okay. Hey guys, do you know what's going on with David Lapham? I always mess that dude's name up. Stray Bullets. Last issue was nearly a year ago. That's the thing with indie creators, man. They stop when they want to, right? I think we're still waiting on. No, East to West finally finished. I don't know. I'm a big fan of that run too. I'm a huge fan of Stray Bullets. I have the big, thick omnibus with a soft cover. I'm hoping to upgrade when they actually release them properly. But I don't know what's going on. I like that whole mystery. I love seeing the news of Jeff Loveness on writing Ant-Man. See the Rick and Morty guy? I think he's the Rick and Morty guy.
I think you're right.
With New Warriors Omnibus Volume 1 coming back into print. Oh, God. I wish, man. Maybe that they were doing that to coincide with the New Warriors comics that everybody's talking about. But I don't know. Will they ever reprint the G.I. Joe Classic Comics? They did. They did in the hardcover edition. That's what we were talking about. But they canceled that line. Now I've got the classic G.I. Joes, the trade paperbacks. There's 15 of those, plus the 4 mission special books. So that's one way to collect them, because they did not finish it in hardcover format. Maddie would suggest Dark Phoenix. I'm trying to get a friend reading X-Men. Do you think? So yeah, I mean, if I come from the mentality that anybody's first issue or any issue could be anybody's first comic book.
Oh, for sure.
If they dig it, they will want to find out more themselves. They're going to tell you, "Oh my God, I don't know who this Angel dude is, but I want to know more about him. I don't know who this Deadpool guy is, but do you have anything else?" Phantom X.
You know, you're gonna know your friends best. Like Omar started me out on. I started on Cosmic Marvel, and I loved it, and that's what spiraled me into a lot of stuff. Now, and then that's not something I would recommend as a first for some people, but I think that worked for me.
And then I had to stop holding her hand, and that made me cry. The moment that you said, "I'm gonna find my own books," like a proud father moment, big brother moment. I don't let him be her father. How's the new X-Men by Hickman? I like aspects of it. I love X-Force and New Mutants, and X-Men is fun, and there's a lot of twists going on. So I don't know how much more he's going to write. It's going to be interesting when it's all collected. How many more issues of X-Men to reach issue 1000? Goodness. I don't know. I haven't been keeping tabs of the legacy numbers, and they've switched on us quite a number of times. You got a little bit. We're closer to 800, bro, or is it 700 maybe? I think we're closer to 700. House of X, Powers of X is a fresh start. That's probably a great answer. I think, Ben, this is a good place to start, and I'm just now catching up with suggestions. What's your favorite Image and Dark Horse series? I was going to do a video. People have been wanting me to do a video of my top 10 favorite Image series and my favorite Dark Horse series, but I mean, we can answer here. Like, yours is Walking Dead, right? I know you love Walking Dead.
Which is, blasphemous because of where I am from.
That's right. That's right.
But I don't. It's hard because I don't have my bookshelves aren't around me back here.
Yeah, it's easy for me. I just look. Oh yeah. Oh wait, no, I like that too.
Saga, Sunstone, the Buffy stuff, Nailbiter. What other Dark Horse stuff do I have?
Hellboy.
Dragon Age.
I was gonna say BP Hellboy, but you know what? I'm gonna cheat a little bit and say Fear Agent for both, because now it's printed by Image, and Dark Horse had those beautiful library editions. So, props to you
Saga.
both.
Yeah, of course, Saga.
Any possible Micronauts? No, sadly. It's copyrights, right? I think IDW owns the copyrights to Micronauts, so that won't be there. See, there's all these kind of possibilities that people can get into X-Men. Morrison's X-Men, I've heard. Astonishing X-Men. That's awesome. Near me condition, have you asked David why the new Daredevil by Jansen and Miller and Companion and Electro Omnis do not follow the standard Marvel Omni spine designs? Oh, because the original printings had they were different. They were trying out new things. I think I've shown my slipcover before. That it's just reminds me of the manga slipcovers. That little thing that goes around the manga, little tankobons.
Mm-hmm.
Omar, the new Omnis are being printed by Hachette, right? That's a UK-based printer who's doing the Transformers G1 Definitive Collection. I don't know if it's the same company, honestly. I've always wondered that too. And by the way, I want those definitive collections. Those hardcovers are beautiful. I'm very jealous of y'all. I know y'all are jealous of our prices here. Okay, I'll take prices over those. But those are wonderful books. Like the collections. I love the spines design. Like I love images on spines that connect. That's one of my favorite things. And not a lot of books do that. Mainly because they don't know how well it's going to sell.
Real quick,
yeah.
Baldet asked earlier in the chat, and I missed it. They asked again, if someone got the softcover Rachel Rising Omnibus and what the quality was like. I do recommend it. It's a very, very nice softcover omnibus. It's built very well.
The compendium?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I've got a couple of the old, but they're older ones. Like
I have all the newer soft covers,
and I
really like them.
I didn't like how thick they were because they would crack the spine and make a crease in the spine, and I'm OCD about that. Many people are not satisfied with New Warriors announcement. What is your opinion on it? I haven't read it yet. I mean, I've seen the names. And I know people have blown up on the names. I think it was meant to be a little tongue-in-cheek. And I'm not really sure. I mean, I'll read it.
I see what they were doing. I can see where they were probably trying to do something empowering with the names and designs and things. But I think it just went very, very wrong, unfortunately. And unfortunately, it fell pretty flat. But that's why it's good to take that time and talk to sensitivity readers and figure out what is really going to work with your fan base. I just think it just missed the mark, unfortunately.
I think I don't even know if it was serious. I really do think since Kibblesmith, right? I think he was just goofing around and trying to provoke some people, and I don't know if he was going to kill these characters off in the first issue or what. Because, I mean, The reason I read New Warriors is because of my characters that I love.
Yeah.
Night Thrasher, Speedball.
Well, I mean, the rest of the character designs were fine. This was poor taste.
But half the team was made up of names like that, though, of the new team, right?
Well, but the two specific ones.
Oh, well, the two specific ones that, yeah.
It's not done well.
Is Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil as excellent as Miller, Bendis, and Brubaker's run? I don't know, because he hasn't finished it yet, and it really depends on how he sticks to that landing, but so far, it is freaking awesome. You need to throw Wade in there, too, by the way, because I love Wade's run. Those Shang-Chi Omnis will go up in price. Well, remember, the Shang-Chi and Master of Kung Fu Omnis were a one-time deal. They weren't reprinting them ever again, because they had to pay enough for that, and I wish they would do that a lot more. They paid enough for the license, had one huge print run, and once they're out, they're out. So keep that in mind if you're wanting to get some. The American Conditioner, I grew up watching the 90s cartoon and loved it. Also loved Evolution. Maddie's a huge fan of X-Men Evolution.
Oh, yes. I love both those cartoons a lot.
The movies minus Logan put me off checking out the comics.
No, I felt the same way because the movies didn't reflect what I knew of X-Men. And it was just kind of hard to make that jump.
The movie, like the first movie was very, it was kind of a big amalgam of everything X-Men, especially at the time. Like Grant Morrison's X-Men when they wore the black suits. Thinking about getting into Urasawa's Monster.
Yes.
It would also be my big proper manga. I think there's going to be a total of 9 volumes. You have it all, don't you? The Perfect Edition or whatever it's called?
Yeah.
Is there 9?
Looks very good on the shelf. I don't know. It's over there.
It's over there.
I think it's 9 or 10.
Dude,
yes.
Cullen Bunn's books, I don't know how that man has time to write.
Right?
Like, he writes at least a book a week. Not a comic book, a book. Like Harrow County. 6 Gun.
Man, there's also, I keep forgetting, there's a book I read by him. I think maybe he did it through Aftershock Comics.
Yeah, he does a lot of Aftershock stuff. Witch Hammers. One of them I
didn't like because it was like a King Arthur's Court deal, which I normally like. I don't think he did a good job with it. And the other one was kind of like it's like a small southern town with vampires in it. Blood Feud. That's what it is. Okay. I really like Blood Feud. I think Cullen does a very good job writing southern culture dialogue style very well.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's throwing in the little horror and supernatural elements, freaking awesome. Yeah, I wish like 3 Marvel Omnis didn't cost $50 to $60 to ship too. Yeah, that hurts. I wish after all this, that's one of the things that they resolve, because there's such a huge market in places like Australia and Europe and South America and in Canada, which is in North America, but just the cost is so much to ship over there or just to sell. So, hey Omar, what do you think about the new? Oh, I think I just answered that. The new Warriors. Yeah, I've seen your pictures, Hayden, of the Hachette Deadpool collection with the image of him cosplaying as other Marvel characters. That's really cool. I love that. I know they're not oversized or thick, but I love the Transformers collection. Yeah, those are ones I have. The Witchblade and Darkness compendiums, the soft covers. They actually have hard covers, but they're terrible. Those things fell apart on me. Hello, Omar from Lockdown in UK. Do you have an opinion on Spider-Man by David Michelinie and Eric Larson omnibus? Yeah, I have strong opinions. I love that stuff. I'm a big fan of the Return of the Sinister Six saga. I'm a big fan of how Eric Larson drew Venom. So the story behind that is funny because Eric Larson thought the idea of Venom was ridiculous. He was like, this costume is a villain now. So he drew Venom as stupid as he could, and he saw the tongue. That's what it was. He also saw the tongue that Todd McFarlane had drawn on a trade paperback and drew it the wrong way, drew it huge. And that's kind of like the iconic Venom look now with all the jagged teeth and the big green slime coming at him. But people really liked it. But man, the Return and the Revenge of the Sinister Six are some of the best. They're so fun. I love those stories. New Warriors, why Diamond stopped the distribution? They don't want to release those comic books. Diamond is in an interesting place right now. I get an omnibus, honestly. Dude, everything is going up in price over here. Amazon's pretty disgusting right now. Amazon doesn't have... Look, in America, I don't know how it is over there, but right now, books that are being distributed through America, like because they're not going through Diamond, like I saw Baltimore Volume 2. There's 0 discount on Baltimore Volume 2. Or Swamp Thing by Nancy Collins, right? The book that DC claims might come out through Amazon and Barnes & Noble. There's a small discount on that. Now, I don't know if that means, damn, these prices are going to stay like this, because the discounts aren't going to be as big, especially if going through Penguin House or Penguin Random House and Hachette. They're not going to be as big as Diamond. So, will Mutant Massacre get an additional print soon? Probably not. That came out late 2018. Yeah, I think that came out late 2018. And it went out of print last year, so it might be a while before we see that. And it's so true, dude. Bunn and Lemire are always competing for highest volumes of work. Both of those guys. They do independent stuff, and then they do stuff for the big too. Okay, Empty Man. That was the other book by Bunn. Have you read that one?
Mm-mm.
I did like that one. You think we could ever see an X-Men by Bendis omnibus? Sure. Mapping Uncanny 3 and All New 1, maybe in the minority, but I love to see. Yeah, well, just because I didn't like it didn't mean I won't buy the omnibus. Maddie knows that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm weak for X-Men. And on top of that, it's got great artwork. You got Stuart Eminem, you got Chris Bachalo. Who else? Irvin was Fraser Irving in there? Yeah. Should I hold off on getting these Daredevil epics? It's always the question, right? I don't know. No reason to hold off. If you enjoy them and keep reading them, keep getting them. Yeah, I don't think everything is going to be an omnibus collection, but that's the beauty of having epics. If you actually enjoy reading comics and don't care about the format, the epics are wonderful to read. What's my opinion on the Stephen King Dark Tower comic? I love the Dark Tower comic because I was a big fan of the Dark Tower books. Well, up until volume 6. Did you ever read those, Maddie? Not the comics, but the books.
I don't think I ever read the books either.
They were a big part of my middle school years, and then high school. And then he took a big break, had a car, almost died in a car accident.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
And yeah, he did a lot of interesting things towards the last 2 volumes. But the books were beautiful. They were drawn by Jay Lee. Richard Eisenoff did the colors. So I was a big fan of that. Now they're not owned by Marvel anymore, which is kind of interesting. Now they're being published by another company. Oh my gosh, is that out in America, Billy Bat?
I've never seen it out. I've never read it.
I don't think it's out yet. Man. Let's see. What would you say is the best Batman story? I've read Dark Knight Returns, and somewhere Joker's the main focus, but I also... the best... Okay, it's all subjective. Oh, man. I really, really, really like Batman Legacy. But in order to enjoy Batman Legacy, you have to read at least Contagion. It's Contagion and Legacy. Back to back. Oh, because it has the return of one of my favorite Batman villains. Maddie, out of all the books that we've read in Order to New Reader, because I know you don't goal and sought after Batman. But like, what would you say your favorite one is so far that you've read?
I don't know, because honestly, I still lean out of everything I've read. Still, I'm still leaning towards Rebirth Detective Comics is my favorite Batman-centric book.
It's a good answer, though.
And I think that's because for me, the best thing about Batman is his relationship with his team and his people and his family. Mm-hmm. That's what makes me like Batman.
A Bat family.
And other stories where it's more like, I'm Batman, I'm by myself, but like, I'm not as into it.
Okay, so there you have it. But year 2 is the right answer. This is a really good question that I don't get asked a lot. And it's a good question I'm curious about you. What comics do you like to look at? There are comic books that I love to read, but I own a lot of hardcover collections, oversized hardcover, because I love the artwork.
Yeah.
And I know my answer, but I'm curious as to what your answer is.
Oh, man.
Like, is there a comic book that you don't care about reading, you just love looking at the art?
Maybe Katie O'Neill. Like, Tea Dragon Society. Those are so pretty.
The Tea Dragon Society.
Yeah. It's by Oni Press. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, really. Sunstone probably is the biggest one.
I was going to say Sunstone too, but that's just new.
I mean, it's just, Cedric's art is just fantastic. Anything that he does. I just love seeing the expressions. Like, I love his art. And there's probably some manga I could throw in there too, but.
Okay. For me, it's the Udon Studios Street Fighter and Darkstalker comics. I love those. It was a tie between that or Spawn.
Yeah.
I love the art, but the stories just they're so ridiculous. Like, at least the Udon stuff. But Spawn at least tried a little bit to be edgy at first, and then they actually had people like Alan Moore come in, or Grant Morrison, Neil Gaiman come in and write stories. But man, Udon stuff, dude, you're just buying an oversized art book. This is an excellent question. I haven't had a chance to reply back to any of the comments in the video. Is it a good place to start reading the character? No. I'm sorry. Not a definitive no. I think a better place is the Alan Moore run. Because Alan Moore creates a lot of the characters that appear in Nancy's run. And Nancy does an amazing job of creating her own mythos and her own characters. But Alan Moore's really, I think, the best place to start reading Swamp Thing. I mean, Maddie, you loved it when we did the Absolute Swamp Thing.
I absolutely loved it.
And she had never read it.
Mm-mm. And my only Swamp Thing connection was like his appearance in DC animated films, really. Before that.
Okay. Custom bind those softcover compendiums. I thought about that. I thought about all these soft covers that I have. I'm like, I'm just going to send them to a bindery and let them put a hardcover on it. Then that's just almost getting ridiculous, because then there's a lot. Where would I stop? There's so many books I would do that with. What artist do you think doesn't have good art and is only famous and popular due to having a few famous titles under their name? That's an excellent question, and one that I have to think about. Because this, again, is all subjective, right? Because I don't enjoy someone's art doesn't mean someone else doesn't. Like, Maddie and I differ sometimes in taste on the art that we both like. Yeah,
I always don't have any idea.
Okay, so Maddie doesn't have an answer? Meaning?
I can't think of one. I don't know if that's because, like, if I don't like an artist, I just, like, all right, all that knowledge is gone. They didn't exist.
Okay, fair. That's fair enough. Man, I'm gonna get.
I would expect you to say Lemire.
Well, no, I think everybody knows that I don't like Lemire, but Lemire's one of those that a lot of people don't like his artwork, though. It's really an acquired taste.
So I'm gonna say Greg Land.
I hate to say this, but I've never been a fan of David Mack. There, I said it. There, y'all found out now. I've never been a fan of David Mack. And I know people love his artwork. I know people love Kabuki, his Echo creation for Marvel, but I've never been a big fan of his art.
Mm.
Because to me, it felt like he was trying to do what what Vertigo artists were doing at the time. And just make it, I don't know, dreamlike, if you will. But yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he just got famous because of Kabuki and kind of wrote it. And people still love his artwork. And I think it's wonderful, but I prefer like stuff like Yoshitaka Amano stuff. Look, David Mack rules. See, I knew it. I was going to get crucified. I'm sorry. It's just my personal opinion. But let me see. Yeah, Omar's opinion is wrong on that one. I knew I was going to get that. Tim Sell. You know, Jess Omnidog also doesn't like Tim Sell. That's funny. Tim Sell, without a doubt. Wow. Okay. I wasn't expecting Tim Sell. JR. See, JR is one of those guys that I expect to see on people's list. Another one that I was going to say is Jeffrey Scott Campbell, but I knew people were going to get pissed about that because people love Jeffrey Scott Campbell, but I played it safe and said David Mack. Philip Tan. It's John Romita Jr. That man gets enough hate. John Romita Jr. is the worst artist ever, is only famous for his name. I don't know, man. There's a lot of other worst artists I've seen. What's up, Surya? I'm just looking at some of these names. And Howard Porter and Mark Bagley. Mark Bagley. That dude can draw fast, though. Sometimes they get a pass. See, Amano. I prefer Amano. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't like Humberto Ramos. Tim Sell, without a doubt, got famous because of Batman. Thought you meant best artwork. Oh, I did not quite like Greg Tuccini's art in Uncanny X-Force. He's the artist on Low. And I think that has to do with the colors. I know a lot of people don't like the colors, too. John, look at all these John. Whoa, Steve Dillon. That one hurts. I love Steve Dillon on the proper book. On Wolverine Origins? Hell no. Tony Daniel. That's interesting. Didn't expect to see that name in here. I like Tony Daniel from the 90s for sure more. If anyone's got a Roku player and is trying to get free HBO, the HBO Now app won't work. I have to actually use the Roku channel app. They're putting out a lot of content for free.
Man, yeah. I hadn't done all my streaming services a lot recently, like HBO and all those other ones. But I was like, well, now that I'm at home, Funimation's back, Crunchyroll's back, HBO Now's back.
What's up, Bruce? And what an excellent question for both of us. What if no more new comics for the next 6 months? Could you read all the books in your collection you have not read yet?
Could, absolutely. But
I'm going to say maybe. I'm playing it safe. You know, it used to be when I looked at my collection, I'm like, I was so proud. I have read 80% of these books at one time or another. I'm a damn awesome collector. Now I look at it, and that percentage sucks. It's like,
oh yeah, no.
It maybe I've read 60%, and that's a big maybe. No, wait. You know, though, now that I think about it, I have read a lot of this stuff when it was originally coming out. I'm gonna play safe, and I said I have read about 65% of my books. That's damn good for a collector.
Oh gosh, I have no idea. I think mine's pretty low. But I usually have to wait till I'm in like a real comic book reading binge time. Like if I'm in the mood for it, I can spend like the whole weekend just doing that. But we'll see. I've got so many hobbies and interests that it usually takes away from that even during like this time too. Thanks a lot, Animal Crossing.
Oh, and then Final Fantasy's gonna eat at your time. Then you have a fiance that wants to talk. Right, my kids are like, "Can you feed us?" And I'm like, "No, I gotta die. I'm at 70% of my books. I gotta get up to 75."
He's busy playing Shenmue right now, so we're good.
The remake?
Yeah, he's starting with. He just finished 1. He's going to 2.
the forklift emulator and the Gashapon collection that's how I play.
I've never played it.
I play Shenmue like I play real life. I collected Gashapon and I drove a forklift like a madman. Hey, Omar.
Well, there's a trophy for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't played the remake. Do you think we'll get a full solo run for Black Widow from Marvel soon with the movie coming out rather than just a 12-issue miniseries? You know what I'm hoping for, Carlos? Here's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping David and his group are like, all right. And I don't speak for Marvel again, just to make sure everybody knows that. They're sitting around. They're like, all right, Black Widow's been postponed to November. Let's get out another Black Widow omnibus and make it the modern stuff with all her miniseries, including the Edmondson stuff, the Mark Waid stuff, all the Grayson stuff, all that into one omnibus for modern Black Widow stories. That would be so awesome and completely unexpected. They put in the solicitations for November. Bam. Anyway, that's just me thinking. I don't know if they'll do that or not. Picking up Blade of the Immortals Omnis, and now I see a solicitation for the deluxe edition. I'm going to tell you something right now, Malby. Thank you so much for your sacrifice. You made that happen. I'm a double dipper. I don't know if Maddie's to that point yet. You've gotten some books that you're like, I'm upgrading.
I've double dipped. Yeah.
But have you triple dipped yet?
It's possible. I already know that with Buffy, the way that it's going on, I've gotten so far with just buying every version of everything that I'll just continue to do that even after Boom reprints.
The earlier stuff from Dark Horse?
Yeah.
I like your style. I like your style. All right, let's move on to some of the questions down here. Will DC release Omnis of more Swamp Thing? How many Omnis would that be, if ever? 2 Omnis, and yes, 100% they will. Probably not the original colors, but it's the same thing that they've done with Sandman. It's the same thing they're doing with Preacher, and I'm sure with Transmetropolitan. First, the absolutes to do the touch-ups on the art, or recolor in some cases, and then the Omnis. So there you go. I can guarantee that, and I don't speak for DC, but I can guarantee it. How do I get my wife to read her comics instead of just her romance stories on her phone? She's actually watching this live stream with me now.
Do you mean that she's already reading comics, or she's not reading comics? Like in general, outside of her phone?
I don't know when he asked that, so maybe... he did say her comics, so maybe she is reading comics. So how does he break her away from her phone?
Comixology?
It's available on the phone. They have a phone app, right?
Yeah. Although, honestly, I mean, I hate reading comics on my phone. I'll do it if it's like it has to be done, but ugh. Even though the Comixology app is pretty easy to use, but you still have to like download it first before you read it and stuff. Oh, Marvel Unlimited, though, is easier to read on the phone, I feel like, than desktop.
Okay.
I don't know if that helps answer the question, but...
No, that does.
Somebody else said break her phone. Rude? Oh, she is reading them, but she is taking her time. Well, then let her take her time. DBZ All-Star. Listen, my fiance reads comics a lot slower than I do. And he just takes time to absorb them, you know? And I am an awful speed reader.
Same.
And I can't be slow when I read stuff or play things. It's just it's this weird hyper focus.
But I get where he's coming from, because when you read these things, you want to talk to somebody about it. Like, oh, please hurry up with that final issue of Why the Last Man so we can finally talk about it.
I know.
Do you know how much it broke my heart that my wife did not like Starman? Twice she tried. I am a heartbroken man over that. There was something else that she read the other day that she's like, yeah, I didn't really dig that. What was it? I just found out. It was something that she read a few years ago. I can't remember what it was. But it was so funny. The conversation went like, what? How are we still married? But, yeah, I get it. Sometimes
Elliot read all of One Piece for me, so, he's obviously the one.
Omar, did you read Mad Fraction's Iron Man? That is a very overlooked run and would be great addition to an omnibus format. It had phenomenal artwork at first, and then Salvador La Roca started changing his art style. Yeah, I read it. Honestly, I really don't remember whether I loved it, liked it, or hated it, I really don't remember. It was just there because I went through an Iron Man readathon where I read everything in chronological order that I had in collected editions. Omar, I love Travis Chairs. I want to read more of his books, but I'm having a hard time. Oh my goodness, man, his stuff in collected editions is impossible to find. You can try to find Wildcats. I think it was Wildcats 2.0. His older stuff. I mean, there's hardly anything because as soon as Image saw him drawing covers for DC, they were like, "Nope, we're pulling that guy." He did a Weapons of the Meta Barons. He did that. He did that Wildcats X-Men cross again. Impossible to find in collected editions. So I mean, those are two good players. He's one of my favorite artists, but he just doesn't really draw a lot of sequential art. Oh, here's a good question because I used to have this, but now I really don't. Maddie?
Polygon. Mostly because I like watching Brian David Gilbert do anything. The McElroy family. Danny Gonzalez. I like to watch his videos. As far as comic book videos go, I don't watch as many unless I'm like looking for something, but I really like Comic Storian a lot.
Okay.
And sometimes I'll watch like Game Grumps and then like Critical Role and stuff like that. And then I watch a lot of fitness YouTubes and cleaning YouTubes. Got really into those. And ADHD channels.
For me, I used to watch Pop Comics. I used to like those guys. Sal, he was a really knowledgeable dude. I'd love to have a conversation with him. I actually ran into him. I think I told the story last week at Baltimore Comic Con, and he was nice. Yeah, I'm sure he was humoring me. He was like, "Yeah, man, I watch your stuff too." Whatever, liar, but cool. My daughters love game theory, like so. I just got used to Mac's voice. I just got used to MacPack's voice, so there's a couple of other channels that I watch where what is the name of that one? The guy breaks down the covers to video games. But because I put out content so much, I don't. Yeah, but it's a British guy breaking down the covers and just busting their balls on why would they do this. Like he did Mega Man, of course, but then he did harder ones too.
Yeah.
But because I put out content every day, I really don't have time to entertain myself through YouTube. Otherwise, it's a rabbit hole, right? Oh, yeah. This video, I haven't seen this. Why is JSA 2 out of print? Volume 1 and 3 are fine. Why 2 and not? That's the conundrum that is DC. So that means either people really went after Volume 2 or they printed a smaller print run of 2 than they did of 3, which doesn't make any sense. Road to No Man's Land is missing issue 533. Only issue missing from the trades. What's up with that? I can guarantee that the solicitations aren't accurate. That I'm sure they will change. What Superman trades do you recommend? Maddie? Ladies first.
All-Star Superman. Any of Superman Rebirth, at least at the beginning, I really like. Does Super Sons count? Because it should.
Absolutely, it counts.
Yeah. All of those.
Okay. Secret Identity. I think it breaks the mold of that Superman story. I think it's excellent. Secret Origin, which is the Jeff Johns Gary Frank retelling. Man of Steel, but that's not available. I mean, it's coming back in a print and hardcover format. I would say Jeff Johns run, any of those trades, phenomenal run on Superman. It's one of my favorite runs. Surprised that didn't get an omnibus yet. Death and Return of Superman. That's a classic story.
Oh, for sure. The animated movies for that are really good too.
There you go. Great channel. Thank you so much. This is an excellent, excellent question because we've both had to do this for How long does it typically take you to read an omnibus cover to cover? Maddie, you hauled ass on that Hick Vengers Volume 2. in a
Yeah,
week.
it really just depends. I mean, I can read one pretty quickly if that's all I'm doing. But Hickman, I think that's a different story. I didn't like that, so it's just harder. It just depends. I think I don't know, 4 hours.
4 hours, my goodness! Look at you. You are a speed reader. For me, like Maddie said, it depends. If it's something modern, I can do that in less than a day.
Oh yeah, and that is the difference.
Silver Age, woo boy! You talk about a week, and I need a break in between. I need manga in between, and I need just some kind of palate cleanser in between. Which is what I use lately. The Batman Black and White omnibus for. A lot of one shots there. Have her read Invisibles. My man Jesse has been trying to get us to do Invisibles, and I promised him we would do either Doom Patrol or Invisibles this year for old reader or new reader. It's coming, I promise. One of my big whales is also the Madman Gargantuous, Scott. So I'm with you, brother. Maddie, what else was on your most anticipated list since me and Omar made you choose one for the video?
You only choose one.
That wasn't me. That was Tina's rule.
We all had to choose one. Oh gosh, I mean, it was a lot of stuff that probably isn't happening this year, like Wonder Woman. Man, I don't even know now. I was so naive then; everything was different.
We had the broad horizon.
I don't expect anything else to come out this year, so it's just kind of like, well, I don't know. Besides Final Fantasy VII Remake, I don't have a big thing that I'm super looking forward to. And a lot of my TV shows are just started. Like a lot of them I thought I was excited for started again. Like, oh man, whatever. I can't remember the name of it, but a lot of other stuff.
There you go. That's what Matt. What are you excited about? Resident Evil? Did you like Resident Evil Remake? Well,
I got too scared to play it, so basically I've had friends stream it and I can watch it while we're all isolated. And I love.
That's adorable. I didn't know you got scared.
Yeah. But
oh, that's awesome.
For some reason, it's just scary enough.
Thank you, Ben. That was the name of the YouTube channel. Zero Punctuation. Love that. And from time to time, I still watch it. Yeah, COVID has touched the... We talked a little bit about that, about Juan Jimenez passing away. That sucks. Hey, Omar, will Uncanny X-Force by Remender be available for IST when it's reprinted since Diamond? Okay. So let's talk just a little bit about this, because usually when I do these live streams, I want to make it happy and positive, but sometimes, we have to get real. So, realistically speaking, will IST or Cheap Graphic Novels, Tales of Wonder, those places online get Uncanny X-Force? Yes, but it's going to be different. I'm like, right now, I know for a fact companies are trying to create accounts with Penguin Random House, Hachette, a couple of other distributors for backups in case Diamond decides not to reopen again. If that's to happen, then who knows when these books will... They are coming. It's not just... It's a matter of where the printers decide to ship them to and how Hachette and Penguin Random House decides to do this. Because I don't know if they have the infrastructure or the manpower to actually make themselves into distribution centers. Best case scenario, they do it overnight. They say, yes, we can do it in a week's time. It's going to be a mess, because that means comic book stores are going to get books. And I've talked about this like in the last live stream when I did this last week with, there's this ups and double-edged sword with the monopoly of being the only sold distribution center in America. The biggest thing is the discounts, right? If you're ordering every single book from Diamond, you're getting a huge discount. But if you're having to order from 3 different distribution centers, your discount as somebody that sells these books is going down. Whether it's IST, Cheap Graphic Novels, Tales of Wonder, or your comic book stores. Meaning, if their discounts go down, we as the consumers, our discount goes down dramatically. Like, I don't know if, I don't know. I have no idea if the discounts are going to remain at 45% off, 44% off, 50% off. I don't know if those discounts will remain. I'm being hopeful, like, that everything will remain the same. But decisions have to be made sometime, right? And I think everybody's just waiting on somebody else to make the decisions in order to continue. I know right now everything is no digital, no release of new books for this week. Next week could be a different story. Next week they could say, let's release some stuff digital and see what happens. I don't know. I think they're just trying to remain hopeful, like we all are, right? Not just this country, but the entire world is trying to get back things into normal. And this is the thing that is normalcy for most of us, like reading comics to escape the reality, this mundane reality and sad reality that we live in. So you will get your book, whether it will come from IST or I promise, but I don't know when. It was due through Diamond on May 15th, I think. That was when the restock was coming. So I don't know if it'll be that date or maybe sometime in late May. But regardless, you will get it. So there's that. We can only hope for the best, right? And until I hear like facts, I can't speak for the companies until I get a confirmation like this is exactly what our plan's going to be. IST lowered discounts for damaged books, and that scares me. But they do that. They've always done that, right? That's not a desperation move or anything. They have always had their damage sales twice a year, I think, where they go 50% off, 60% off, 70% off, just to get rid of the stock, to make room for more stuff. I thought some comics were released digitally. I think DC said no at first, then they went back and said yes. I don't think anything was released this week. So, kind of sad. It only took 1 week of new comic. Well, if you think about it, they've been dealing with it a lot longer than we have, right? To us, we haven't got new books. To them, they've been worried about the printers. Printers shut down. Oh, crap. Where's our stock going to come from? We got to go seek out other printers. And that's what happened to, Wolverine, Black Widow, and Amazing Spider-Man at JMS Volume 2 with the flat spines that people were concerned about. We're going to look back on these days of discounts like people talk about the great Amazon glitch of 2010. I don't think people realize how much more we're going to have to pay after this. I'm remaining optimistic, because I don't have anything in writing. I don't have anything that says we're stopping distributing through Diamond. We are no longer dealing with that. I don't have any of that. So until then, I'm just going to remain optimistic. Okay, Batman launched Batman or DC launched Batman. I heard about that. That's awesome. The Paul Dini stuff. Will Barnes & Noble have April Omnis? I would say so, since they don't deal with Diamond. Like Amazon and Barnes & Noble don't deal with Diamond. What's up, Joe Cool? Will you be doing... I will keep doing those videos as long as the companies tell me to keep doing them. I know that Marvel, David said it's okay to keep doing them, and he was going to send me some more books. We don't know what yet, because no idea what Hashhead's going to get. And DC, they're sending me stuff, and both companies have told me to keep the date, but it could change. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Omar in the Wolverine release. Oh, that breaks my heart. That's the one I was pushing for the most. And now who knows? I don't know. Do Omnis hold up good for years to come? Like physically, the books? Yeah. I've had some since day one. Reread. Look wonderful on the shelf, and they hold up. Maddie, do you want to add anything on that? I feel like I was rambling way too long about like the state of the industry. How does it make you?
there's just not much more to say about it right now. I mean, I remain optimistic, and I'll say what I said Tuesday, that, you know, times like these usually give way to creative changes and creative business strategies. And I think we're going to see some of those fold out while this is going on. That's it. And I try not to spend too much time, like, besides, you know, because my concern continues to remain how my main concern continues to focus around what the consumers can do at this time to make sure that our favorite media can continue to be successful and move forward, whether that be what's our best job right now. Do we focus on supporting our local comic book store? Do we still just continue to, you know, help out IST? Like, what's our role? And that'll continue to be my focus through this.
I think that's wonderful. And to speak on that, I think it's wonderful that a lot of distributors are showing love, or publishers
Yep.
are showing love towards the comic book stores, because it shows you how much of our it's our part of our culture here in America, these comic book stores, and we don't want that to go away, including the publishers, who, when you think of publishers, you know, you're like, oh, they just care about money. But no, they really care about comic book stores in the way they're donating, in the way they're cutting costs, in the way they're trying to help out when they lost their one distributor. So we will get through this together, though. There were a couple of other questions I wanted to touch up on.
Candace says we should do a live stream of gaming.
Well,
we've talked about, but
we have. Yeah.
I still don't think I'd be that entertaining while playing a video game, to be honest.
Whereas I would get demonetized within the first 5 seconds of playing Mario Kart, because there are words, and I get creative with my with my language. Maddie can attest to that.
Because I'm happy to stream Final Fantasy VII Remake while I'm playing it, but I don't think it'll be that entertaining to you all. I'm just going to say that right now.
So, Omar, what's the best highly recommended Marvel run omnibus that came out in recent years? Because I have the collector's bug. Welcome to this wonderful world. Well, if these reprints come out, Uncanny X-Men, of course, Annihilation, as far as Marvel, if you're looking at Marvel. DC has reprinted The Flash. I'm a big fan of that run. So the second Flash omnibus from Jeff Johns, the reprint, or the new remapping and reprint, has been solicited for December. So it is coming out. Hopefully all of this won't get canceled. But as far as recent years, they're reprinting Infinity Gauntlet, if you want to get into that. I'm an X-Men guy, so of course I say that. Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, if you want to get into the classics. Maddie, you could probably recommend one that just came out, a reprint that was impossible to find last.
Annihilation.
There you go. Yep, Annihilation's classic. Batman and Robin got reprinted. Please get that. That's a wonderful story. But those are just some. And honestly, on the channel, I was starting tomorrow, I'm going to do retro views of Omnis that have been out for a while. I know a lot of you guys have been wanting me to do it. So if you want to see one in particular, let me know in the chat. I'll start making a list. Omar, how about former publisher executives helping reshape distribution methods, all benefiting the stakeholders like Levitz, Video Shooters, and others? I don't know if that's... So one of the things I heard that they were going to do, and this is pretty interesting, was sell a digital code that you could redeem a physical copy of later at your comic book store. And apparently that kind of fell through, and it wasn't going to happen. But I don't know if they're going to, if they get into the publishing executives. I'd love to see Levitz come back and Shooter. And say what you will about Didio, he would have made up some decision by now. Probably last week he would have come up with something. Whether we would agree with it or not, I don't know. If you could buy one, would you recommend the second Thor Jurgens omnibus or the War of the Kings Prelude omnibus? You mean the War of the Kings omnibus? War of the Kings. Yes. The Road to War of the Kings. Yes. Sorry, I thought you meant War of the Realms. Yes, that one for sure. Maddie read all the cosmic stuff, so she can vouch for that. Was it the Jurgens room? Actually, Jurgens Volume 2 was solid, but better than Volume 1. But I think War of the Kings is better. And we're going to start wrapping up here because we're going into an hour and a half. I'm having a lot of fun. So please don't forget to hit that like button. And keep an eye on the channel. Probably be doing this every Saturday. If not, maybe on a Friday night. Gotham Academy is excellent. I did get to read a couple of trades. Did you read that, Maddie?
I've only ever read the Lumberjades crossover, but I really like it.
It's a wonderful way of saying it, Chess Rockwell. Hey, we got your email, man. Thank you so much. That was really nice. I think Andrew was replying back. He read it to all of us. Or he didn't read it. He sent it to all of us. Local comic book stores are a vital part of the comics ecosystem. Absolutely. They are. With The Last of Us 2 delayed indefinitely, man, I was looking forward to that thing.
I know.
And that Iron Man VR game, do you think other video games or even new consoles would get delayed? It depends on how long this lasts, right?
Well, and so far, like Sony said that PlayStation 5 is still going to release later this year. I was like, well, okay. I don't believe that, but I don't know. I hope not many more get delayed. I'm really sad to hear about Last of Us, but they were sad too. They're like, we're sorry, guys. We just don't have a choice. But I do imagine we'll get some more delays, especially because so many companies are working on these games up until the point it releases, right? So
yeah,
I definitely expect to see that happen. But now's a good time to catch up. I know we all have a backlog. You cannot tell me you guys don't have a backlog on Steam right now.
Maddie's cat cleaning up the crumbs from breakfast in the background. Raz, that's going to happen. Me and Rob, we'll get you on King of Fighters. And it's got to be King of Fighters 96. I don't do nothing 98 crazy stuff.
Guess we need to start a Twitch now that we're
home. Now that we're all at home.
Yeah.
Flashpoint slipcase box set. We're getting we're getting like an Earth 1 box set, a New 52 box set. And I think that they're all soft covers too. I think. Mike Carey's X-Men run, Grayson runs must suck because I never get a response for asking if they're any good. Oh, Irish Knight, I didn't see your question. Wait, Grayson, not David Grayson, but Grayson, like Nightwing Grayson? Is that what we're talking about? Because that run is awesome. And Mike Carey's X-Men is good. I liked it. I'm not saying it's my favorite, but I really enjoyed X-Men Legacy. He did a lot of awesome stuff that tied up with some of this past stuff that the X-Men did. Immortal Hulk is an excellent read for somebody that was asking earlier. Omar, so here's a question I get a lot. Do the publishers let you keep the advanced copy they sent you? Yes, they do. So I think I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind not sharing that. They do, which is why I give a lot of stuff away. I don't know how much more I can give away though, because it costs an arm and a leg to ship these books. So we are going to have a huge 20,000. I feel so crazy saying that. 20,000 subscriber giveaway whenever we can all get together. So that's coming. By the way, sometimes review copies, it's not the dream. They're all banged up. Y'all complain about Amazon. Y'all should see some review copies. There's a reason why they're review copies. You guys should do a gaming video, but of board games. We did one a couple of years ago. Well, now we can't, right?
Yeah. Well, the set it takes so much setup to do because we have a lot of board games between me and Tina. But
they do.
I mean, imagine that's just a lot of filming.
A lot of editing. But I like to do that one day. Hey, Omar, any word on Wolverine reprint? They physically have it, okay? Diamond has it. But I don't know when they're going to let go of their stock to these I don't know. Which is weird because I've also heard that they're shipping stuff if you're paying out of pocket. If you can pay out of pocket for the freight, they're shipping stuff, older stuff, not new books. So I don't know if that's two different shipping distributions. What's first, Man of Steel Omnibus or New Warriors Omnibus 2? On my list is New Warriors Omnibus Volume 2, baby. But we'll probably get a Man of Steel Omnibus before that. I don't know. How psyched would Omar be if Marvel invites him to the digital summit about their business going? Oh my gosh, I'd flip out. I couldn't, dude. I couldn't even keep a straight face. So Comic Hub was not incorporating the discount program that stores offer, right? See, that's the problem when you get a lot of these different places trying to do the same thing that one place was doing. Yeah, I wasn't downplaying Thor's run by Jurgens, but it was a choice between those things, of course. Red Batman Year 1 this morning, Pure Comics Gold. Oh, look here, Maddie.
Yay. Congrats, Hunter C.
Thank God college is out right now. Boy, I'd be in trouble.
There you go, all right? See? Use this time.
You've hit the double century today, Omar. 200 people watching. Yeah, we've had a lot of viewers on these live streams, so that's why I want to keep going. Because we don't get to answer every comment all the time, so this is nice. We did that a little bit earlier, man, and I was heartbroken. He was one of my favorite artists, and I know that, he was older and he wasn't really working on much, but still, that one hit hard because his Meta Barons was, and if you've never read anything by that man or seen his artwork, go and pick you up a copy of the Meta Barons hardcover. You don't need the nice deluxe edition. Just see what everybody's talking about. Dude was a master. Do the 9 Man of Steel traits? They do, and they go beyond. Please do Saturdays. I think I will keep it on Saturdays because I know it's a lot easier for a lot of my people to join. A lot of our viewers to join in that are from overseas. So I don't mind this at all, and I ain't doing squat on Saturday morning. So I'm here with you all. So yeah, all right. We'll end it with 2 more questions. Maddie, favorite manga?
One Piece.
One Piece. Maison Ikoku. I had to click on this one. Is Diamond offering drive up or carry out? Give me the address. I love that question. Probably not. That's what I'm trying to figure out. What's the logic behind Diamond shipping older stuff but not newer stuff? Maybe the only thing I can think of is in different warehouses. Maybe. I don't know. Omar, are there any omnibus for the Rebirth runs yet? The only ones are Super Sons and Detective Comics. Maddie's favorite book is getting an omnibus later this year. So there you go. There you go. All right, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us. Maddie, would you do us the honor of signing out, please?
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
One more thing. During this time, please do check out our sponsor, cheapgraphicnovels.com. They're wonderful folks. And I heard tell that they may actually have some books that were supposed to come out that no one else has. That's what I've heard. I don't know if they're going to put them up or what's going on with that, but they may have JMS Amazing Spider-Man 2, not a lot of copies, and Swamp Thing by Nancy Collins. Not a lot of copies of that either, but cheapgraphicnovels.com. Check them out. Tell them the Your Mint Condition sent you their way. Sorry about that, Maddie.
Hey, thanks so much for joining us and hanging out. Expect more of these in the future. If you're watching this later, we appreciate if you give us a like, comment down below if you had any thoughts about what we talked about today. Don't forget we have Redbubble if you're looking to buy any near mint condition shirts. Also, we do have a Patreon through which we do upload a video every month, and also you can use it to vote for reading orders and our last old reader, new reader book of the month. So thanks, guys. Stay safe. Stay inside.
Yeah, everyone stay healthy. Thank you all. Be